Hi everyone, welcome to a brand new series on the channel following the development cycle of Paper Red and the Spirits Inc. Today is going to be the first episode in that series, and we're going to be going over some of the currently made locations within the game. Now, episodes after this one will follow along more to do with the actual building of the assets and the levels. But because I actually went and created these levels way before I even had the idea to kind of do commentary over them and show them off as part of a dev cycle, they're already all built, so we're just going to be talking about them as we go along. So, as I'm sure you've already seen, the first place is called Fisherman's Wharf. This is going to be your main hub, this is where you'll start the game, and this is where most of the kind of NPC interactions at the start to get you along with the story is going to begin. Now, I also want to make very clear that everything you see is currently a work in progress, both neither the lighting, the sound design, the music, anything like that is built, so just be aware of that before kind of, thinking if something doesn't look finished. Okay, so enough kind of prep talk, let's start actually looking at the levels that we're seeing. So what we're currently looking at is the Wildlands. Now, when I was building the Wildlands, I wanted it to start with a kind of vastness overview so that you could see the kind of size of the island. You could see that there was hills in the distance, that there was much more to explore, and that your adventure was kind of just beginning. Now, of course, much like Paper Mario or Bug Fables, every level you go into is going to have different paths. Not necessarily just for the story, but for side quests, as we can see here. If you go south, you're actually going towards the farm area, which is actually going to be a really awesome, fun minigame where you can kind of build bonding levels with the animals, and you'll unlock kind of badges for different attacks or different passive abilities. Here we can see we're just going a kind of nice clean sweep over everything. Now, I'll say that this level is not done, there's still a lot to be added to kind of make it feel fuller and fresher, but for the majority of it, this is pretty much how it's going to look. You can see the sign says we're off to Hooktown. Now, of course, we're in part 2 of the Wildlands. Not every area is going to have a part 1 and a part 2, some are just kind of joined on. This is just a continuation. As you can see, the further you get down, the more you can see into the distance. One thing that I love to do in my games is show where you're going and show where you've been, and as you kind of look down the river right now, you can start to make out a kind of silhouette of a town. This is going to be Hooktown, although we're not covering Hooktown in this video. That's actually going to be in episode 2, where I show you building some of the houses and talking about some of the residents. The cool thing about this game is the camera angle is all going to change quite a lot as well. You're never just going to be facing one direction. It's sometimes going to be kind of back and forth, it will show you down a path and then come back to you sort of thing. Now we're currently seeing underground of Fisherman's Wharf. This is under the kind of main town that you've seen at the start. You'll kind of notice that we've got some really cool flat coloured backing caves to kind of give distance, as well as to really sell that paper style effect. One thing that we really wanted to do, and by we I mean me, because I'm the kind of sole developer of doing all the assets, I really wanted to sell the paper vibe. However, I will say that the paper within the game is actually more of an aesthetic. It's not actually the world that is paper, so Red won't be turning into like paper boats or paper planes like Paper Mario. It's more in the vein of Bug Fables, where everything looks paper, but that's not actually how the characters of that world would perceive it. Now we're just showing off some nice distance stuff. Everything is in pause right now, so we've actually missed out on a lot of rivers, we've missed out on a lot of kind of falling drains and stuff like that. Those kind of splashes that you've seen back there, that's usually has got like kind of big goopy waterfalls falling down into it. So we're seeing everything in a paused motif. We're not seeing any of the wind blowing or anything like that. Now we're looking at the farm. As I went and said before, the farm is really cool. Something that I love about games is a kind of bonding system in them. I love farm games. I love things like the Chow Garden from Sonic. And I thought it would be cool if you had this sort of mini quest where you found cows throughout your adventure, you brought them back here, and then you get to kind of live on the farm and kind of interact with the cows, and then obviously get rewarded for doing such things. So here we have now just Red running through the levels to show how they actually join on. So this is him going through Fisherman's Wharf to the Wildlands. You can see that he's got, he's quite speedy, he's running quite quick. This is actually going to be a power up in the game. This is not how fast you run initially. I know people are going to love the sprint when they have it, but they won't have it right away. Again, he's just came down from... Now, the load times that you're seeing are not the actual load times, and that doesn't mean that they're going to be quicker, slower, or whatever. What I'm just saying is this is all edited. And you can actually see that everything's in not paused anymore. Buildings, when you go in, fold down, very much Paper Mario Bug Fables, so that's always great. Obviously the world is dynamic, so you'll see things move, the wind move, all the characters will be walking about, the trees will shake and stuff like that. Everything has a good bit of charm to them to kind of make the world feel as real as possible, but still kind of unique to the art style that we're going for. Okay, so we're pretty much wrapping up the video now. I think when we get to the end of here, that's the end of the recording. I will say that episode 2 is going to be more focused on the creation portion of different places, and same with everything going forward. The only reason why I'm showing everything finished off right now is because everything was already finished before I actually had the idea to record. But I really hope you enjoyed. I hope you're excited for it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.